Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're back, man. Episode 320.
320.
I remember you was conflicted.
Misusing your influence.
Ah! All right, man. The biggest fucking news right now everywhere is
in the world
is Kendrick and Drake beef. So we're not going to waste any time. We're getting right into it. I want to preface everything with this. Before we say anything, all the things that are being alleged in this rap beef, we cannot confirm or deny any of it. So I'm not going to sit here making definite statements about Drake or Kendrick Lamar. We know nothing, okay? So unlike most of society that's running with calling freaking Drake a pedophile or some people trying to call Kendrick a woman beater, what we're going to do is remain impartial and say none of those things, okay? We see that they're there, but there's no point of us really like acting like that's the reality of the situation. Mm-hmm. We don't know what the fuck is going on, and we don't know these people. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's been really strange watching people make definite statements on social media in the last 48 hours. Mm-hmm. It's not, that's, stop letting people spoon feed you things. Mm-hmm. Wait for things to come to the light.
This is such a big conversation. I'm not saying it's like parents level. I don't think it's reached like the casual parent. Like, it ain't like my mom was hearing about like Cat Williams and stuff like that, and she don't listen to rap music like that. But it is definitely a thing where like people are like even people that don't listen to Drake or Kendrick are like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the stir?
YouTubers that don't cover hip hop at all are just kind of like chiming in on this beef and stuff. So it's definitely the talk of the town.
It's taking up a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
In my For You page, normally it's not this much rap shit. I scroll up, it's a regular one. Then it's Kendrick, Drake, yeah. Kendrick, Drake. Then somebody's making a sandwich. Then the next one, it's wild.
Somebody said, I wish I knew the direct quote, but I'm paraphrasing here. Somebody said on Twitter, Kendrick Lamar is like cleaned up my timeline. I don't see no porn on it at all. So I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Dang.
Yeah.
I remember you was watching porn.
Love lust.
They not like us. They not like us. They don't watch porn. They don't watch porn. They don't watch porn. Oh, man. I will say this, too. I feel like Drake and Kendrick are absolutely necessary in hip-hop. Why? Because you got a guy in Kendrick who's made a lot of very deep records, like deep think pieces, such as, Swimming Pools, which is basically talking about alcoholism, and, Fuck Your Ethnicity on Section 80, and, Complexion and things of that nature. All these deep records that he's made, that we enjoyed, that we could look back on, right? And then you got Drake, who's dropping straight bangers for the last 15 years.
Yeah, that's the interesting. Sorry to cut you off. I don't want you to lose your thought, but yeah, that's the interesting thing about this beef. It's like it's the clash of styles.
Yeah,
Drake is out of here when it comes to just popular music, but then Kendrick is just like like a jazz musician. He just has like the soul and the pulse of like culture. So
right. Mm-hmm. He's the, if these walls can talk. He's the how much a dollar costs. Like that's what you get from Kendrick. And you need those deep think pieces or music a lot of times. And then you also need the Drake.
Yeah, you do. They're both necessary.
They're both absolutely necessary. So for the fans that are just very biased and this is all confirmation bias to them, I feel like both artists are absolutely necessary in hip hop.
Yeah.
Like even throughout all these different decades, artists that even ain't like going back to like the Yin Yang Twins and people like that, they were absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Like artists like Nas and artists like the Yin Yang Twins and artists like, Gucci Mane, and then an artist like
Common,
and then an artist like, bro, they are all necessary. This is hip hop. So I just wanted to preface all this before we really start talking, because this shit is about to get deep.
Because as human beings, we have different moods. Sometimes,
absolutely.
This is the thing that I would say. Kendrick Lamar is a person that when you just want to say you like chilling with a female or something like that, and you just like at the crib and like you just want to throw in like a vibe in the background.
Yeah.
you're not putting on Kendrick Lamar. You're gonna put on Drake because, and not that Kendrick Lamar is like no disrespect, but it's just like it's just palatable for every walk of life.
Kendrick got a few though.
No, I'm not.
You can smash some like loyalty.
Nah, I'm not. What I'm saying is
Loyalty.
What I'm saying is when you press shuffle on Drake's Spotify playlist,
right,
you don't have to worry about like and it's just like. I'm like, who's screaming? Who's screaming in there?
You're like, I remember you was conflicted. Like, man, like I can't suck dick.
Yeah, she gonna be like, yeah, she gonna change her mind. Yeah, you gonna be knee deep. She gonna be like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
No, it's gonna be like, if these walls can talk. That's actually a good song.
Yeah, it
the
is.
walls be talking like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into it, man. The origin of it. There's just a couple different places or different time frames in which a lot of the origin story started with the whole beef thing. Obviously, Drake had him on Take Care, and I think it was like 2011. And I feel like Drake does a good job, or his team, of having the foresight to see talent and putting them on records. And I feel like what Drake was on, what was the name of that song in 2011? Drake, Lamar Open Club. No, is it 4 p.m.? Not 4 p.m. in Calabasas. That's 2016. We'll get to it. But anyways,
what you talking about?
No, 2011. Kendrick featured on Drake's Take Care album. 2011, Drake evolved from being the polarizing rookie to a full-fledged superstar, trumping expectations. Take Care. What was the song called? That's all I need. Okay.
Oh, with Kendrick Lamar on there?
Yeah. Take Care.
Something about a dead. Is that the one? Not over
my
dead
dead body.
What is that?
While he hoisted, thank me later. Campaign questions lingering about whether
I'll find
Take
it.
Care.
Give me a second.
So far gone roots. Anyways, well, he was on there, and this is when he came off Section 80, which was a really decent album. And
Buried Alive.
Okay. So he had Kendrick was on Drake's album before he made Good Kid, Mad City, which to me, Good Kid, Mad City is a fucking legendary album.
Yeah.
Love that album. And it has like a deluxe album too, but either way, that's a legendary album. And then afterwards, Kendrick, started really, I won't say feeling himself, but as a hip hop artist, he wants to be at the top. And there was an element of, competitiveness and ego and whatnot. And here's this other one to see here, Buried Alive. By bringing him along, ASAP Rocky and opening acts for his Club Paradise tour. Drake later rapped about his decision to fight for Rocky and Lamar as his openers in 2016, 4 p.m. in Calabasas, recalling when they told me to take an R&B nigga on the road, and I told him no and drew
Kendrick
for Kendrick.
For Rocky.
Yeah, which I think is dope, man. And then 2012, Lamar, fucking problems to collaborative poetic justice. Let's just go forward where the Control song. 2013, Kendrick Lamar takes aim at Drake and the rap game on Big Sean's Control. And he had a verse on there where he was going at everybody. The landscape, as he boldly called out J. Cole, Meek Mill, Drake, Big Crit, Wale, Pusha T, ASAP, Rocky, Tyler the Creator, Mac Miller, Big Sean, and Jay Electronica. I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you niggas. Trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you niggas. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear not one more noun or verb from you niggas as he rap. Drake responded to the Kendrick diss while gracing the cover of Billboard the same month, telling the publication, "I didn't really have anything to say about it. It just sounded like an what did it say? Ambiguous. No, that's not what it is. Ambitious. Damn, I got a tongue tied. God damn it. Ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well Lamar is not murdering me at all on any platform. So when that day presents itself, I guess we'll revisit the topic. So after that,
the day is here.
The day is here. This nigga Kendrick Lamar has been stewing for years.
Yeah.
And just mad. I don't know what's going on. And then the only issue I had with Kendrick, and I talked about this on the other podcast, is the fact that he don't release music like that, and he is not outside. So it's like for a guy that can take up to 5 years to release an album, and then all of a sudden you got all these diss records. Like, goddamn, man, you did more for you did more for Drake than you did for your fan base right now.
Dang.
You know, that's something that the fan base, there's a lot of hardcore Kendrick fans that are loving this shit, that are going crazy.
Yeah.
But this is the same dude that was just in the house. This nigga has been hibernating for years.
Yeah.
But he had between 2017 to 22 is when he released his last album, Mr. Morale.
Yeah, so it hasn't been too long from the last album.
No, it hasn't been too long from the last album. Mm-hmm. But he has released so much music recently.
Oh,
right?
back to back.
Yeah, he's releasing them back to back.
Like 4 songs, 5 songs so far?
Something like that. Yeah, he needs to just don't release anything else, man. Just stop. At this point, just stop. It's not going to mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the origin story of this is, is pretty much Kendrick. Kendrick fighting for that position. I think that ultimately a lot of his fan base, right? Because I won't say I'm a part of Kendrick or Drake's fan base. I just like them both. I'm one of those guys that remains objective. But I will say Kendrick is a guy that releases a whole lot more. I mean, not Kendrick, but Drake is a guy that releases a whole lot more and has done it since 2009. Mm-hmm. Kendrick is a guy that takes a while to release, and he can take a while. A lot of those TDE guys take a while too. Like freaking Schoolboy Q took quite some time to release until he came out with Blue Lips. Mm-hmm. So that's how they come out. So I think it's kind of hard to be at the top of hip hop when no one hears from you for 5 fucking years. That's kind of hard to do. Mm-hmm. And Drake, sometimes I'm not just being objective. Drake has released some not so great albums, like in a row. He released 3 albums that were easy for me to forget. Mm-hmm. Honestly, Never Mind. What's the one with all the pregnant women on the emojis? Certified Lover Boy. Mm-hmm. That wasn't good. Honestly, Never Mind was good, and it was another one it was 3 duds in a row. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, Drake is batting at a pretty high percentage right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's that. So that's the origin story of how it started. Mm-hmm. We go ahead and shift forward to today. Today, these niggas is crashing out.
Well, you got to go back a little bit because
what's that?
It was quiet, right? And then Like That. No, this is how I would say Like That kicked it off because Kendrick Lamar said,
"Oh, after the cipher,
after the big 3, it's just Big Me." Right. Which was a response to, first person shooter. So, from Like That, then you get, you get push-ups, which was kind of a weird, like, was it leaked? Was it AI and whatever? So, but we realize it's Drake. And then after that, we get Drake doing Tailor Made with the AI, Tupac, and then Snoop Dogg. And then that's when we get Euphoria. From Kendrick Lamar now.
And then after Euphoria, then 616 in LA came out. Mm-hmm. I thought it was over with 616 LA. I felt like Kendrick won the whatever, the beef or whatever you want to call it. I felt like he won it with 616 in LA, in my personal opinion.
I thought it was palatable up until after 616 in LA.
Yeah, then it was just like, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. This is insane. Yeah, this is.
I'm sleep. It's like Euphoria came out. I remember I was just on Twitter just randomly. I seen it like 7 minutes after he posted it. I was like, oh snap, this is crazy. So I played it. I was like, yeah, this is a dope song, solid response. I think me and you were saying like it's kind of like a tie now. I see people saying like Drake, he got washed, but I thought, it was kind of the classic like Drake makes really good songs versus like Euphoria kind of having a Kendrick Lamar type angle, like, questioning his manhood and, fatherhood and stuff like that. And then after that, it just kind of got out of hand.
Yeah, it was a lot of bullshit. After that, it happened. Like, motherfuck the big 3. It's just me, big me, nigga bum. I was saying you was conflicted. So that happened like out of left field. Like it's just Kendrick Lamar trying to throw his weight around. Mm-hmm. So I would say this. I would say that Kendrick Lamar is a hater, but I think he's a hater from a sense of he's a successful hater. He's a very accomplished guy, very Pulitzer Prize winner and all those things. But that don't stop you from the hate.
Grammys and all that.
All of that. You done got all of that, and you still doing this. It's like, okay. And people saying it's just hip hop, man. They beefing, man. They beefing. These niggas is not beefing. Mm-hmm. This is just a battle of egos at this point. And with Drake, there is some shit. We could get into the allegations now. I guess we can do that now. We don't have a choice.
I think I want to wait. Don't stray away from the hater part. I think that's like I think that that's genuinely where this kind of starts from. You know, I think that not, and I don't know if it's hate takes on a few different. There's a few different versions of it. There's a hate where you're kind of like jealous, and then there's a hate where you just like you don't like to see somebody succeeding in that way. And I think that there's like I don't think Kendrick Lamar is necessarily like jealous of Drake's success. I just think that he probably despises the fact that he's like the biggest rap artist.
Right.
And Kendrick Lamar probably feels like he's a better rapper and he makes better music, and he makes better albums.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that that's kind of where his hate comes from. But, yeah, it just like the reason I say that too is like Drake to me, like one, he's the top rapper, so I don't know who he or why he would hate on anybody. But well, you see Drake, like, you know, he showed up to his concert. I think his concert in Toronto. Drake showed up there. He had like a little booth or whatever. And I don't know if that's support. I don't know if that's like a chess move or whatever. But he showed up. And then also it has been confirmed by Kendrick Lamar in his song that Drake. I don't know if it was Drake and J. Cole or just Drake tried to get Kendrick on first person shooter, which would have been like a dope moment for hip hop, you know, but you know, for whatever reason, Kendrick Lamar didn't want to hop on the song. So that just kind of feeds into this idea, like, you know,
basically he said, we got some shit to address.
Yeah. It's like, you just don't like Drake.
You don't like Drake. And I think it's easy to not like Drake too. We have to address everything all the way down to how they look. Drake is easy to hate because he's over 6 foot tall, good looking dude. And he's the top rapper in the world.
Especially in the demographics, like women love Drake.
Exactly. So that's the thing. We got to be blunt. We can't say that that's not a factor in it. You know, some people like, look at this pretty boy, punk ass half breed. He not even black.
The light skin definitely plays a big role in it.
There's an element of colorism. We'll get into that a little later. But we see where this is now and what it spiraled into. So let's move on from the like that. We already went into. From like that, and then we got a response from Drake.
Push-ups was, to me, was dope because it was an interesting angle, you know, drop and give me 50. It was like triple entendre about, you know, Kendrick Lamar doing these freaking burpee videos
in the park.
And then like also like kind of alluding to the fact that Top Dog might be taking, you know, money from him and stuff like that. So I thought it was a respectable response, and he was just going at 30 people. Nigga, Metro, Rick Ross, and all kind of people was catching strays. So, I thought it was dope.
That's the thing. If you want to know who's number one, and they be like, "Oh, it's King Kendrick, East King Kendrick." Let's be objective. Why you got 5 niggas dissing Drake at once?
It's a 20v1, like you said.
Yeah, that's like, come on, man. Now we have to be objective here. This nigga's got, and then you got Metro's corny ass dropping a fucking diss beat. BBL Drizzy.
That's probably out of all the antics, I think that's probably the most corniest.
It's corny because you already see this man going and getting into it with Kendrick, and you doing that bullshit.
Yeah,
that was fucking corny.
He was like, I was sitting silent. I thought that shut up Metro and make some drums was cool, but then you basically said like my nigga stole my girl. Then that's like, you know, and he's like, my girl's out of the way. She not even famous and stuff like that. It's just like. I don't know. It's just corny. Like, you're not a rapper. Just stay out the way.
Yeah. I think it would have been more impressive if he didn't use any drums at all.
Yeah. That would have been interesting.
That would have been dope. Like, if like, Metro, shut your bitch ass up and make some drums. Like, that should have started off the song. And then he should have just used nothing but snares.
It's just straight drum line. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
Because Metro kind of got some, but it's not like affecting his life in any kind of like Metro shut your whole ass up and make some drums. Like, niggas was playing with it, like, you know, and it wasn't really like a crazy thing. But they made a whole album dissing this man.
That's ridiculous.
And the thing about it, the thing that is kind of like interesting to me, is we still don't even know, like, no one has said why they don't like Drake. Outside of Kendrick Lamar, the only thing we heard is like Rick Ross saying, I don't like you because he sent a cease and desist to French Montana. But like no one has gave a legit reason as to like man, this nigga tried to like smash my girl, or this nigga was talking to my wife, or this nigga was doing like we haven't heard that version of a story yet. It's just like, and that's why I think like what you're saying is, you know, is it has a lot of merit to it, because if we don't have a legit reason, like a tangible reason as to why these people don't like this man, then it has to be all of those things. You know, it has to be like the successes, and you know, it has to be, yeah, just kind of, I guess that's it, like the comparison and the ego and stuff.
Yeah, it could be other things too, but I mean, I would assume that they would, you know, they would say those grievances out loud, like, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but ain't nobody said nothing.
It's just this rampant display of freaking calling people pedophiles and shit like that. Like, I'm gonna say this, I think that rappers, more specifically at the top of hip hop, you need to be careful, because Young Thug is in prison because his lyrics implicated him. So when you're saying things like this and you're saying them on the record, people get investigated for shit like that. This is serious. And this is not me defending Drake. It's me simply saying, like, if Drake is saying that you a woman beater and he's saying that you a pedophile, if there is any merit to any of this shit, both of these niggas need to go to jail. The only one that, and then if they go to jail, the winner of this battle is Metro Boomin.
Why?
I'm just making that up.
Oh,
It would be J. Cole.
Yeah, J. Cole for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to J. Cole, man. Like,
Yeah.
J. Cole is, you know, you hear, shout out to Nyla. She's on Breakfast Club and stuff like that. She's like a big J. Cole fan, but she was just, he's saying like same thing like that. I thought is like, J. Cole is like the winner in all of this, man. You know, for the person to read the room, and see that this is probably going to get messy. And, you know, I don't really have a disdain towards this, you know, this person. It's just rap beef, and it's not that serious. So I'm just move out of the way. I think he did it in a way that was just kind of like, at first it was just like, dang, man, like the competitive, as a, you know, a hardcore J. Cole fan, and a person that believes he's, you know, a better rapper, than both of these individuals, at least at this moment. I wanted to see like what it looks like for J. Cole to like really like get in his bag. Yeah. And then he stepped out and it was kind of disappointing. But like shortly after that, you started to see everything unfold. You start to see the songs come out. You start to see the allegations and all this stuff.
It's too much.
And I imagine J. Cole is sleeping really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not knowing that niggas is not prying into his life and all this other stuff. Yeah.
And then the thing about it too is like you see even on Mr. Morale, freaking Kendrick slightly mentions like seeing the two artists like being cool with each other and said he didn't like it.
Kanye West and Drake.
And my thing is with Kendrick though, man, is for you to be releasing all of these very deep think pieces in these songs, like what you're doing right now is not reflective of who you are. I feel
what
like
if they stripped the Pulitzer Prize from him? Like almost like Reggie Bush. Like
yeah, I don't know if they'll do that, but yeah, I think that he's reacting in a visceral way. I mean, I expect this from Drake. I don't expect this from Kendrick. I would expect Kendrick to actually be above the bullshit, but he's releasing like nursery rhyme songs like they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. OV ho.
Why would you expect it from Drake?
I would expect it from Drake because I just kind of seems like he would be more. He's like, is that a world tour or your girls tour? Like that's the type of nigga he is. So I would expect that for that, like that lower vibrational behavior. I would expect that more from Drake.
But even then though, even with that, Drake has never done nothing like this. Like
yeah, this is a lot.
All that stuff is like career stuff. You know, it ain't like personal stuff. But I would even say like and I would even say in that instance, Drake only responded to that because the nigga was like, he basically said he had a ghostwriter and he brought up the whole Quentin Miller thing. So
I think when Drake, not with Drake, but when Kendrick dropped that Dear Adonis, that nigga's therapist called him immediately.
If he has one.
I think that nigga's therapist called him immediately and said, "What are you doing?" Because you got to think about this, like the implications, man. That's implying that this man is a pedophile. That's not even a rap battle no more. That's wild. And I guess that might have been his nuke. Like, I'm finna nuke this guy, right? But here's the thing about that. If you say that and you cannot prove that, right? You're not advocating for anybody. You're only advocating for your ego. And by the way, I said this on TikTok, so I'll say it now. Kendrick Lamar, if you knew that this man was doing shit like that and you didn't report it until a rap beef, you're not advocating for women. You're only advocating for your ego. You really don't give a fuck about no women. You thought it was just a nuke for a rap beef. If it's really something going on, because I don't know if it is or not, but if it's really something going on with Drake and Kendrick knew about it and didn't say nothing, that's low integrity. That's low integrity. Nobody's talking about this. Mm-hmm. Nobody's talking about this, bro. You can't sit there and sit on this and act like we supposed to be like, yeah, he a man of the people, man. He trying to stop these pedophiles and these people. Because people, when they hear celebrities or musicians talk, they don't question anything. They just get spoon-fed information, and then we run with it, and we make definite statements like, I knew Drake was a pedophile. Mm-hmm. That shit is not okay, bro. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful. And if you are a person that's like Ryan Garcia posted something online, he's like, oh, this battle is over. He called him a pedophile. Yeah, Team K-Dot. Then you got people piling on. Yeah. Bro, I feel the same way about him saying Kendrick beat his wife. If you can't prove that, my guy, it's 2024. This is not 1994. Mm-hmm. The battling has got to be a little different now. Mm-hmm. There's some legal parameters you need to go around. You can't be telling, like, yeah, that's why your uncle peed on you when you was 5. It's like, if you can't prove this nigga's uncle peed on him when he was 5, you better not say that shit in a fucking rap beef, bro.
Niggas not getting sued in a rap beef, though.
I mean, look here. Look, at the end of the day, it's not about somebody getting sued in a rap beef or not. I don't think we can make an assumption of who's doing what. All I know is in today's world, the worst thing you could be labeled as is a child predator.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the worst thing. You don't play with that. You don't play with that.
That's not nothing.
And if Kendrick don't got paperwork on that, he need to shut the fuck up. You don't do it. You could call him something else. And then here's the thing. Let's just jump forward into the hypocrisy. Okay. On the Dear Adonis, he talked about him, doing Percocets and, doing drugs and stuff. Meet the Grams. Okay. Meet the Grams. He's saying you're doing Percocets and, he's a bad example and he don't teach you shit. All this, right? Okay. You do realize that on Like That, you did a feature with Future, who is a womanizer and talks about Percocets in a lot of his music. You also had Kodak Black, who narrated your album, who had a sexual assault case and was on drugs many times. So you do realize that this is hypocritical, right? This is highly hypocritical to say these things. You just hate Drake so much that you are running in a circle. You got to watch that shit, man. You got to watch that shit. And now, even though I feel Drake won the battle, that's just my personal opinion. But this extra shit that I feel Kendrick won the battle, but this extra shit that Kendrick is doing is all visceral. It is all a visceral reaction.
I think it's hard to say that I think in the music, and not even like what he's saying. I just think the volume kind of like gave him the edge, and then I think this last song is just a dope song. Mm-hmm. I think it's a better song like without all of the pedophile stuff, just because it's kind of hard to like
we shouldn't be dancing to that too.
Yeah, I think that's very weird to be dancing like somebody
pedophile rap.
Calling somebody a pedophile, and it's a good song. So it's like it's very like conflicting for me. But like you said, if there's no proof of this, and there's like basically 2 or 3 songs where you're saying that this stuff is true, it's like you said, it's something that's like, I don't know. This is how I would say it. I just expressed how I felt about it. I'm knocked out. Like I took a nap. I woke up to like at like 9:30 or something like that to like my text messages going crazy. Like Kendrick dropped again, and I'm like, God dang, like this is getting annoying.
Yeah, this is too much at this
And
point.
then I go and listen to it, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, dear, he's talking to his dad, and then he's talking to his mom, and then he's calling him like a sick individual and all these different things, and
He's
then
a sick
all this
man with sick thoughts, and I think niggas like him should die.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking
he should go in there
wild.
with Harvey Weinstein and all this stuff. And then he talks about this 11-year-old daughter, and I'm like, this nigga Drake got another daughter? Oh, this is over. Like, I'm like, dang, like not making this mistake 2 times in a row, and then like calling him a deadbeat and stuff like that, and play this when you 18, all these different things. I'm like, yeah, this is a wrap, man. I'm sorry, Drake, this is over. And I slept on it, and I woke up the next day, and I was like, how do we know this nigga really got a daughter?
Absolutely.
And then Drake posted on Instagram. He's like, dude, if somebody could find me like where my 11-year-old daughter is, like, please let me know. And then you was just like, that whole song is like, it's a dub. Like, it's not, if none of it is true, like you could just literally say anything on a rap song and it sounds cool. It's like, it doesn't really, I don't know. I just, after that point, it just kind of, once I realized that wasn't true, it just took the steam out of the whole battle, because it's not really about who's making the better raps. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Drake and Pusha T. Drake, to me, is a better rapper than Pusha T, but I just think that Pusha T was able to like create a narrative about Drake. And the thing about rap beefs is that it's not really about bar for bar, in terms of like the real hip hop people, like the people that actually just care about lyrics and who's like a better like at putting words together. Mm-hmm. That's like, what we'll listen to. Right. But when it comes to the casuals, they will say that Pusha T won because he told the world that Drake was hiding a kid. But if you hear from Drake though, he wasn't necessarily hiding his kid. He said he didn't know if it was his son. Mm-hmm. And when that song dropped or when that news came out, he said he still didn't know because he was taking a DNA test.
We also don't want to normalize men fucking gossiping people's business in a rap beef. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And then some people say, ain't no rules in no rap beef. But if we wasn't beefing and we just regular dudes in a regular life with regular jobs, and I'm telling motherfuckers your business, you would say I was gossiping, right? Right. Okay. Shut the fuck up. That's ignorant. I felt Pusha T doing that was corny. Now, Drake did some shit that was corny as a motherfucker, too. But at the same time, I feel multiple ways about multiple people. Mm-hmm. But the pedophile stuff and the songs, then the thing about it is Drake mentioned in the most recent diss that happened right before we started this fucking podcast about him wanting to pull his music from Spotify. 6. Yeah, the Heart 6. Basically pulling his music off Spotify if they censored R. Kelly.
Kendrick Lamar said
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing about it, it's a little more nuanced than that. But he basically said, here's what it says. Kendrick label head confirms he threatened to pull music from Spotify. I don't think it's right for artists to be censored, especially in our culture. Top Dog CEO said of Spotify since retracted hateful conduct policy. And then it says Spotify announced today the platform is moving away from implementing a policy around artist conduct. Of course you have to, because one, I mean, you're going to have less streams because there's a bunch of people. That means you would have to remove Morgan Wallen because he called somebody a nigger. So you have to remove Morgan Wallen. You would have to remove Kodak Black. You would have to remove so many fucking people. If you want to go back as far as you can, you got to remove Elvis because the nigga was dating like a 16-year-old when he was almost 30 or some shit.
He married, Priscilla. I was saying Priscilla?
I don't know. I can't remember her name, but she was in her teens for sure.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the thing.
Tupac?
You have to move. Yeah. Tupac had a sexual assault case. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, hey man, like I get it. I really don't want to use that against Kendrick though, because it's more nuanced. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it was him defending R. Kelly though.
I don't know like what Kendrick said. That that quote right there, it didn't really say anything Kendrick said. So yeah, it just said what Top Dog said. So yeah, I don't
That's
know.
what it says. I reached out to Troy over there. We had conversations. I expressed how I felt about it. The censorship, how you can't do artists that way. I don't think it's right for artists to be censored, especially in our culture. How did they just pick those artists out? How come they didn't pick out others from other genres or any other different cultures? There are so many other artists that have different things going on, and they could have picked anybody, but it seems they're constantly picking on hip-hop culture.
It sounds like you're defending R. Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
It kind of sounds like it. Yeah, it kind of.
But I think that's part of the game, right? The idea is to find the inconsistencies in what the other rapper is saying, and that's like it. I think with Drake, like I think with Kendrick, there's so many of those things, like the inconsistencies, that you could kind of do that in terms of like your responses
Absolutely.
or your rebuttals, and I think that's kind of what he took that angle.
There's so many, man, and here's another thing. I want to talk about Rick Ross and just us as black people in general. We got to be careful because we talk about racism, but right now we're being racist to ourselves, and I will explain. A lot of the anti-black sentiment is not cool. Rick Ross calling him a white boy, and then you got Kendrick basically telling him, get how many features you're gonna get till you feel like you black enough, and all of these things. Okay, cool, right? But here's the problem. This is the same guy that made complexion. Complexion don't mean a thing, or fuck your ethnicity. That was another one that Kendrick made, right? And these deep think pieces are not aligning with the person that's saying these things on the diss track. So do we just forget about you being the guy that's doing this? Like, I'm not trying to make up no excuses for Drake. I feel like Drake at 6'16", I felt he got washed. I'm talking about the man. The man that's walking around with a crown of thorns on his head. Like, where is that guy? Where is that guy? Because right now, I don't see the parallel between a guy that's representing the culture the right way. And this is not just on Kendrick. This is on us for clapping and dancing and crip walking to music like this. It's not right. It's not. I don't give a fuck if like you. And also, this is one thing I'm going to point out right now. And I pray that this is not true, and I do not hope this happens. The same people that's dancing and crip walking to the streets, like, they're not like us. And if we all celebrating Kendrick Lamar are the same people that will flip on him. As soon as some information came out on him that was bad enough, they would flip on him.
On Kendrick?
Oh, yeah. That's how society works, buddy.
I don't see it.
You don't see it? It's the fandom is too strong?
Yeah. I mean, even with the whole domestic violence allegations.
They just act like nobody said it.
They act like they didn't hear that.
Yeah, like they didn't even hear it.
Yeah.
And my thing is, as a person that has remained objective the whole time, I'm listening because I want to hear who was the best. I felt like Kendrick I felt it was a tie, but 616, it ended it for me. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I even posted, I said, hey, with 616, Kendrick got this. It should be over. Drake to just leave it alone. And then they just kept talking. It just got more and more nasty. You saying this man's kid is not his and that he beat his girl and all of this shit. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is not even like this is too much is the reaction that I felt.
Yeah, it's OD.
Yeah.
It's OD.
I wasn't entertained by it. I think most of society was like, they would stand there like, oh, that's not his kid. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, they're receiving it as information instead of gossip. And that's the problem with people.
Yeah.
And they make it worse, bro.
Yeah.
They make it worse because they can't think for themselves. And society needs to understand, like, not even society, but people need to understand, or these artists need to understand, they have a great deal of responsibility because these motherfuckers, it's no different than people being like hardcore conservative or hardcore Democrats.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what one side does, they never see it.
Yeah.
The Democrats could do some weak, wild shit. They'll never admit it. Conservatives could do some wild shit. They won't even say nothing.
Yeah. I think this is what I would say about what you said. I think that this Kendrick Lamar's response has kind of set us back as a society.
Absolutely.
Because there's always been like this divide between like dark skinned and light skinned people,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's Kendrick Lamar's fault in a sense, because he wasn't able to like understand that his fan base is not like super like, how would you say it? As I don't want to be disrespectful, but they're not like locked in like that. They're going to run with their own interpretation of what he's saying, right? So if he's poking holes in like Drake being like primarily talking about a person that's like coming from Canada that was raised by a white mom,
right,
and trying to like steal different cultures from Atlanta or steal culture from New York or Memphis or whatever. Maybe that's what Kendrick Lamar is really saying, right? But you have his fans that are like interpreting that as like, this is like light skin, whatever, like the whole white boy thing. And it's like very divisive, right? And then I think that his fans are just kind of like running with things that he's not necessarily saying. And that's what's like setting us back as a culture. And I want to just like preface this conversation by like, this is happening like post, like this is like the conversation that is happening after Meet the Grams. This is a conversation that's happening after like Family Matters. You know what I mean? This is not push-ups and Euphoria. Right. This is like, a week later after all of this stuff has dropped. But yeah, it's interesting because when I looked on Twitter, and people have to be mindful that when you scroll through your timeline, that's not a true representation of what's actually happening.
Absolutely.
That's a representation of what the algorithm is showing you at that time.
That's the danger.
Yeah. So you could get caught up in this idea like, oh my gosh, like it's so many such and such fans. There's so many Kendrick Lamar fans are going crazy. When that may be the case, but it also may be the case that you are clicking on the things that are talking primarily about Kendrick Lamar.
Absolutely.
And the way that the people, the coders and programmers at Twitter has it coded is that we're going to keep feeding you stuff that you want to see so that you can stay on our app longer so that we can sell more ads and stuff like that. So that's what I would say. People got it twisted. But I will say, when you look at what's trending, that's a true representation of the conversation that's going on social media.
Absolutely.
But the thing that was trending on social media after the Heart Part 6 dropped is the words "So Drake." And it was like a bunch of rebuttals from fans basically saying like, come on, Drake, you mean to tell me that you set this whole thing up? Like, Drake, we don't believe that. Drake, you're not really out here. You just ran with this narrative that was going on online. So I'm like, dang, like, y'all believe anything Kendrick Lamar say, calling him a pedophile and all these different things.
Wild.
But when it comes to Drake, you don't even believe that he like set up like Kendrick Lamar in that way, like with the picture and the little girl and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
But the cold part about it is it's literally what Kendrick Lamar said.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar said, have you ever thought that there's a mole in OVO working for me? But the fans are running with this like, nah, Drake didn't do that. I'm like, that's when I just tweeted out, I was like, bro, Drake, just go on vacation.
Yeah, just
like,
shut it down,
bro.
bro.
You can't win this battle. Kendrick Lamar's fans are they going too crazy. There's no version of this where it's just about rap. This is a thing that's turned into who has the most tea, and that's what it is. So yeah.
Here's the deal. I'll say this too. What I learned during this whole rap beef thing is Drake has fans, but Kendrick has a tribe. Mm-hmm. That's two different things. You got to understand with Kendrick, he's going to win a battle by default because he has a deep roots hip hop background. He's the last rapper, not the last one, but the last commercial rapper connected to old school hip hop. He's the last one. So you got the people that love Kendrick, a lot of them hate Drake, or people that just hate Drake, they're going to run down with Kendrick anyways. There's a lot of confirmation bias going on.
There's a huge divide, right? There's the big three. There's J. Cole, like super fans like myself, who's like, he's untouchable. Then there's like the Kendrick Lamar super fans who's like, they feel the same way that I do about J. Cole. And then there's like, I would say Drake has the super fans, but it's more like, it's just more lax. Yeah, It's not like, they're not going to be the people that are going to bat for him on Twitter.
Right.
It's like a few like DJ Academics who has a really big voice, but he doesn't have like, out of anybody, Kendrick Lamar fans is like, they're going to jump in any conversation when it comes to like rapping and all these other things, and they're going to go crazy for him.
They act like they fucking invented hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
It's annoying. And I thought, like, I never looked at Kendrick fans like this, like hardcore Kendrick, until they showed their face or showed their whole tribe during this shit. Mm-hmm. They worse than Beyonce and Taylor Swift fans. They are worse.
Yeah.
The reason why is this: they are not objective at all. Mm-hmm. And it's been incredibly annoying because, like, if you say anything good about Drake, like, oh, that was like, I don't think Drake won, but I think that was a dope line when he said this. They'd be like, all that shit is elementary. It's not hip hop, bro.
Yeah.
It's not hip hop. Yeah. But y'all need to listen to when Kendrick said this on the Heart 5, when he said, it's like, bro, and they're over analytical.
Yeah, they connected all kinds of stuff.
Oh, my God. 616 is a holiday in Toronto, and it's also when O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown, when she died, and it's also representing, like, from like the Mayan calendar.
It's also like the time that Tupac was born. It's just like, dog.
It's like, oh, my God. But y'all stop it. Fuck. They're overly deciphering everything that Kendrick fucking does. It's like, bro, you need to go touch some grass, man. Like that, it is insane.
Yeah,
I could never love someone that much. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that kills me.
Especially that you don't know. You don't know this person.
Man, like I be thinking some of y'all be beating y'all meat while you listen to Kendrick. It's like, God damn. I was saying you was gripping it. Insane. Insane, man. I think about even any like sports teams or whatever. Like I'm a huge 49er fan. I'm a Dodger fan. I'm a Laker fan. I love them. But I'm not willing to scream and yell at people over my teams.
Yeah.
I loved Kobe. I was a humongous Kobe guy. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get me screaming and yelling and arguing with people on the internet over Kobe.
Especially not now.
Like he's gone. Not only that, like I don't know Kobe. I don't have a personal relationship with Kobe. Mm-hmm. The fandom is too much.
That's why the word "stans" was invented, because it was like
Eminem.
It was like fans weren't enough. Like it's not enough to call like the people that you're seeing online fans. Yeah. You gotta like that's why we call these people stans.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. Like I was talking to my girl and I was just kind of explaining to her the beef, and she was saying like she was like, but like, why would Kendrick Lamar doesn't come off to me as like a person that would lie? And I'm just like, I don't know Kendrick Lamar. You don't know Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, we don't know him.
All you know is that he releases To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City. And, he has these like very conscious songs and stuff like that. But on a personal level, you don't know him. And this is also a new version of Kendrick. Like this is
insane.
This is what I think we were kind of alluding to earlier. This is like it just comes off as like unhinged. You know what I mean? Like it comes off as like out of character. This is like the Malice in the Palace. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like in a bad way, where you see
this
like
is Steven Jackson going in the stands.
Yeah. It's just like it's.
This is Ron Artest after he got hit with that cup of water.
Yeah, it's like Ron Artest is chilling, then he get hit with some water and he knocking everybody out. Like I will say, when you watch the Malice in the Palace back, it's a couple of them white boys was eating them punches.
Oh, the fans?
The fans was eating them punches.
I paid too much money for these seats.
Oh man, yeah, but but no, I think just basically what I'm saying is there are a lot of people that just because we think we know these people, we think that we know these characters. They we think that we know what they would do, what they wouldn't do. They wouldn't lie. They would, they wouldn't cheat on their wives or all this
scary
stuff. Yes, it's just not the case. And I will say too, like there's merit to J. Cole and Drake alluded to this. J. Cole alluded to like this idea of like I live my life without the pressure of a constant facade, and this is what he said in 7 Minute Drill. So I think that J. Cole and Drake probably know like Kendrick on a personal level and know that like he probably has done some stuff that doesn't necessarily coincide with his music. And I think that we're kind of like seeing this in real time right now. It's almost like I'll say it like this. One time we were at the studio where Blast was working on his album, right? And Blast comes off as he says he's like vegan and stuff like that. And I remember there was like a bag of, and this is not like TT, it's just like surface level stuff. There was a bag of Doritos, and he grabbed it and he ate it. And I was like, "Oh, bro, I thought you was vegan." He's like, "Oh, so, like sometimes I'll, indulge or whatever." But like that's like the rap industry in a small metaphor for like the rap industry.
Absolutely.
Like we don't know these people.
Yeah, we don't.
So stop
we don't.
acting like you sitting on the internet behind a freaking iPhone or a keyboard, like
Right.
you know what these people are capable of.
You don't know. There was this girl on TikTok. She's like, what's crazy is like Drake is a culture vulture. She's saying this in definite terms. Drake is a culture vulture, and he has never helped our community. And Kendrick has stood up for the black community. He has constantly been, around and advocating for us and standing up for us. It's like you're making this nigga sound like Martin Luther King.
Bro, yeah.
He's a rapper.
It's so stupid. Like, the nigga got a whole video, God's Plan, where he gave out like $1 million to people.
Yeah. This is where the colorism thing comes into play.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you could do sometimes as a light-skinned person, you're not black enough.
Yeah. The sad part about that whole colorism conversation is that however it played out, we all slaves. You could say like Drake might have been in the house or whatever. Like all niggas is slaves. So that whole like divide that is like
Drake would have had an easier time though as a slave for being light. They would have put him inside the house.
Nah, I wouldn't say it was easier. That nigga probably also got here by somebody being raped.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
rape is definitely not easy.
Yeah,
they probably told Drake, get in there and make some biscuits, nigga. So he was the slave inside making biscuits all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I will say this with the whole colorism thing. I think that as black people, we need to look at ourselves, and the reason why I say that is this: a lot of us have bargained racism.
Yeah,
we have bargained racism, and we have bargained racism because we hate Drake so much. Think about that. I want you to think about that, and you may say, "Oh no, nigga, you just talking too much. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, it ain't even that serious. Ain't nobody racist against Drake. He just a culture vulture." Why are you calling him a culture vulture when he's
a black man?
He's a black man.
Yeah.
Telling him not to say nigga and all of that while your wife is biracial, for one. She doesn't look like she's just black. So it's like, I mean, you're not keeping that energy for your wife. You've obviously given your wife grace, but you're having selective morality and you're using it because you just want to make this man feel bad for not being completely black. Now, Matt Barnes was having a conversation with Sage Steele. Sage Steele used to work for ESPN. She has a podcast now. She was talking to Matt, and they were talking about growing up biracial. I don't know. I know how it is to be black, but I don't know what it is to be biracial. That's a whole nother can of worms, brother. They go through things that we don't as black people. And what I mean by that is this. Biracial people, sometimes they be getting racism from both sides. Matt Barnes said he fought a lot of black kids and he fought a lot of white kids because he got black kids calling him white boy and you ain't black. You barely look black. And his dad said, "Hey, that's racism too. Fight him."
God dang.
Yeah. right. So,
shout out to Papa Barnes. That nigga taught him how to have hands early. That is crazy.
Yeah.
He said that's racism too. Fight him. That's comedy, boy.
So shout out to Matt Barnes because it's the fucking truth. Like, who are we to determine how black somebody is, dog? It's annoying.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let's if he's not black enough, keep that same energy with Malcolm X then.
Oof.
Keep that same energy with Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Just because Malcolm X didn't look like Martin Luther King didn't mean he was not a black man.
Yeah.
There are some black men that don't really look black. They might have a white father and a very light-skinned black mother, and they come out with like a redhead, but they got like black features.
I would say this is the thing that I would say. I would say like there is and this is just like some beef, what you would call it, like beef tactics or war tactics.
Right.
It's all about controlling the narrative. Like I was mentioning earlier, there's no proof that Drake was like hiding his kid. The boy was like barely born. You know what I mean? When Adonis, the story of Adonis came out. So but when it comes to like the rap beef, it's easy to say like, oh, like this Drake is, he's hiding a child from this porn star and all this other stuff, and they're trying to clean up her image before they present the world.
People was body shaming that girl.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at her. Look at she looking all like this and that. I'm like, she's a good looking woman.
Yeah.
Just because she does not fit in the conventional attractiveness, like that's wild.
Yeah.
People, go ahead, man.
You also got to look at your own baby moms. Like, what's your
baby mama look like? I seen some of y'all baby mamas. Y'all need to shut the fuck up. And I'm not even shaming. I just know I know why I exist on the attractiveness scale. And it's like I know I can only say so much about stuff. Some of y'all niggas be like, man, Drake baby mama is fat or she ugly, and it's like, I mean, you sitting right next to a hippopotamus in your house, and you got the nerve to be talking.
Yeah, you can't say nothing.
I seen a recent picture of his child's mother. She looks very pretty. Yeah. Whether she slimmed down a little bit. Mm-hmm. She's a regular looking woman.
She's just a regular. Yeah.
What's wrong with regular looking women?
I would say for Drake's standards, like she probably ain't like Rihanna and all these other women, but yeah, she's not. She's
like,
not
stop it, bro. It's okay.
Yeah, but what I was saying is like, rap beefs are about like steering a narrative, right? Mm-hmm. You hear like even with J. Cole's 7-minute drill, it was just like, okay, like how can I poke holes in his catalog? Or even with Drake, he was like, I thought it was funny. If you're not like a diehard like Kendrick stan, and you can like appreciate some of the stuff that Drake is saying. He says Kendrick opens his mouth, let's give him a Grammy. Like these are things like that is just part of the war tactics, is just like finding certain angles and then speaking them as like definitive things. And if you're like, like you said, like even with the whole angle with Kendrick Lamar about Drake not being a good dad, there's literally no evidence that that Drake is a bad father. We don't have any stories, we don't have anything outside of what Pusha T said. So yeah, but the thing about it is like fans run with it. That's the danger of it. That's why I would say like Kendrick Lamar fans are just kind of like they're just like diving into the things that he's saying as his Bible, but it's just a rap. Dangerous. It's just a rap, dog,
and that's dangerous. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. This is not a beat down on Kendrick Lamar hour. This is more about the fan base than him.
Yeah,
some of the shit he's doing is raggedy though. But here's what Deion. Here's what Deion Sanders said 2 days ago, and this is how I felt. Have a blessed day, and please choose peace instead of war. War will provide casualties regardless of the feeling or appearance of victory. Win the battle of life and not the provoked battle with another man or woman. Deion said that. Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing. He wasn't talking about, we know what he's alluding to. And then somebody said, so who winning, Drake or Kendrick Lamar? And Deion Sanders wrote Jesus.
Man, yeah. I think I'm coming from a place like, I appreciate, we'll probably get more into it later, but I appreciate J. Cole. I appreciate Vince Staples. I appreciate, sentiments like that, because it's like, I even appreciate us as a podcast.
Absolutely.
Because we spoke about it like, I don't know if it was on air or off air, but I was basically saying like, dog, when in history has a rap beef ever remained just like lyrics
about
back
rap.
And forth? Yeah.
Nah.
It's always like,
maybe in the 80s.
Yeah. It's always like, I rap better than you. No, nigga, I rap better than you. Like, nigga, that's why your shirt dirty. Nigga, that's why your shirt dirty. Mm-hmm. Nigga, that's why your mama sick. Nigga, that's why you got a baby that is you don't care for. It's like no version of a rap beef in history has ever just stayed on wax, because if you keep jabbing each other the whole time, then nobody cares. Yeah, people are just trying to like get other people out of it.
Early 80s, it was different. It was a little different then. I mean, I wasn't around, but I've seen some of them old battles.
Yeah.
Cause you a sucker MC so viciously. You can't rap with me. You can't tap with me.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, ooh. Next dude be like, hubba dubba dubba. You ain't my brother. You just a little punk. You ain't never been no mother.
Yeah.
Oh, round 2.
Yeah.
You a jive turkey?
Yeah.
You never would have worked.
Yeah. Niggas ain't rapping like that no more.
Calling somebody a jive turkey back in the day, that was like ether back then.
Yeah.
Like you got ether. You know what? I'll say this: ether with Jay-Z and Nas, and and that battle, that was a gentleman's battle compared to this shit.
Nah.
Yes, it was.
Ether was wild.
Ether was not like this.
Ether was wild.
I was in high school. I was what, 15 when that shit happened? I remember it very vividly, man.
Calling him cockafella.
Yeah,
like it's some wild stuff.
That was just light.
Dick sucking lips. All that,
that
stuff.
was just light homophobia in the freaking early 2000s, Keith. It wasn't like it was considered very basic for the time. Like what do you say? I rock rhymes, you rock fellas. Like making a couple gays like that back then. Homophobia was, for some reason, it was socially acceptable.
I will say, I have this in my notes.
Uh-huh.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar brought homophobia back. And I'm not applauding it or,
Where? What do you mean?
There's just, it's like Drake has the line where he basically says like they playing the weekend music in the spots where they show a little more pride. Like,
yeah.
So they bring that homophobia back, and even Kendrick Lamar saying like, I don't believe you like women. And obviously it's like, there's multiple meanings to it. But
yeah.
I think that,
some subliminal.
There's some subliminal. You can still get a little homophobia off in 2024.
It's probably some gay hip hop heads like, wait a minute. wait. Let me write that. What did he say? I mean, but I do like to listen to The Weeknd. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
I think that, what's funny? They didn't flat out come out and say some homophobic shit, and they watched their tongue with that. They did it subliminally. They used clever wordplay.
Yeah,
but
you got to sneak. It's just the same way we talked about. It's the same way we talked about how racism is a little different now. They're not calling us niggas no more. It's the same thing with the 13th Amendment. Like that whole. Going from Jim Crow going from slavery to the Jim Crow.
Nah, you don't
yeah.
get called a nigger no more. They just be like, you're one of the good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
You're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not all flashy, and you don't talk trash, and
it
seems like your mom raised you well.
Yeah,
it's like what?
Yeah. This is a little off topic, but my girl is biracial, so she her grandma is white, but I've literally never met her before. But she knows about me, obviously, and she'll like send like stuff to her mom. It's just like it, like the kind of like almost like a flamboyant black guy, like just kind of like what do you call it, like outgoing in a sense. Like she'll send like little videos and stuff like, haha, this reminds me of Keith. It's just like somebody kind of walking in a room and being funny. And she like, you have no idea. Like, you don't even know this man. That's not his personality. He's not walking in a room and just making jokes to people.
No, that's probably more me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. See, I just think that maybe, and it's not even racist, maybe that's how she perceives black people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of black people are naturally funny.
Just funny.
But
yeah.
Keith is just like, Keith is not anti, what do you call that? Antisocial. Mm-hmm. But he's like, social enough. Like he's gonna go into a room, he's not gonna say more than he needs to say, and if he doesn't need to talk, he won't say shit.
Yeah,
that's Keith. But me, I'm the guy that like, I'll be chilling and I'll be like, hey, I like those shoes, is dope right there. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, we can strike up a little convo. Mm-hmm. Keith ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think there's so many layers to this shit, and we still got, where we at, man?
God dang.
What?
That's an hour right there.
We already talked about this an hour. Oh my God. Man, I'm sorry, folks, but this is the biggest trending news, man. But there was another thing too. I think hip hop is such a massive genre that it could stimulate a local economy. And one of the examples was the fucking restaurant.
Oh, the New Hope King.
New Hope King restaurant out
sure.
in freaking Toronto. When Kendrick was rapping on this level, I was like, okay, like this is dope. Like this is hip hop.
Yeah.
But once this nigga started doing all this extra shit, I'm like, come on.
Blammy, Crody. Yeah.
Yeah. That was different. But
I will say, like, don't forget your point, but I would say, like, this, like I said, this is like, I'm talking about first couple rounds. Like, it brought me a new appreciation for Kendrick. Because, like you said, like, his last album, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers was, it was a very personal, it wasn't like very like rappy rap stuff. But when this stuff, when the beef kind of kicked off, I was like, yo, I this is what I want to hear. Like, I appreciate this version of lyricism from Kendrick Lamar. So yeah. But yeah, I'll let you finish.
Yeah. On a lighter note, I think Kendrick Lamar is like a real elf, man. Go to Google and Google Kendrick Lamar's ears.
His ears?
Just go look at his ears. Here, look at this picture. Tell me this nigga's not a fucking elf.
That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy. Anyways, Kendrick Lamar's Drake diss track creates buzz at Chinese restaurant in Toronto. Ever since he dropped the diss track, I was like, I gotta visit this place. One fan said after hearing Euphoria. And it says, Kendrick Lamar and Drake's ongoing beef is doing a bit of good at one Chinese restaurant at Drake's hometown in Toronto. Speaking of local outlet City News on Wednesday, May 1st, New Hope King owner Johnny Liu excitedly shares how the rapper's feud now has his business booming. This morning, a lot of people texted me and said, oh, look at that. That's your restaurant. I said, yes. He said during an on-camera interview. Mm-hmm. In Lamar's recent diss to Drake, the Compton native references the eatery. Don't speak on the family, Crody. It can get deep in the family, Crody. Talk to me and my family, Crody. Someone gonna bleed in your family, Crody. I be at New Hope King eating fried rice with a dip sauce and blammy, Crody. Lamar raps on Euphoria. So what he was basically telling him there is like, hey, don't talk about my family. Mm-hmm. Somebody will bleed in your family. Mm-hmm. And this was like a, how do you call it? This was like a lyrical threat. Mm-hmm. He's basically saying, look, man, I know you got robbed in front of this place. Mm-hmm. I'm not promoting this restaurant, but something violent happened to you in front of this restaurant, Drake. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will make sure something violent happens to you again.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I deciphered those lyrics good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's pretty rap genius.
That's pretty rap genius. All right. Just put me on there.
Nah, yeah. I think that's a good point that, that kind of gets lost in all of this is like, these guys are like, this is like Floyd versus Manny Pacquiao, like the pull of just the pulse of like what's going on and like just being able to just move the needle. Like that's crazy. I don't know how that thing was doing, but not only did Kendrick say it in the song, the nigga Drake popped up to the spot and shot a music video there, and he literally ordered the same stuff that Kendrick Lamar was saying in his song. So yeah, I'm sure that spot is like, man, thank you, and not
that's what it say on the bag.
Yeah. Thank you, K. Dot.
Hurry up and buy.
Thank you, Drake. Hurry up and buy. I would say I think that not only that, but YouTubers is making bank. Bro.
Oh my God.
I was just sitting here, I was listening to the Heart Part 6 before we started the podcast, and I was like, bro, like I don't do like reaction videos, but I'm just like, dog, they making so much money off of these freaking reaction videos and just making just talking about the beef, breaking down the lyrics and reacting to them in live. And all they're literally doing is just listening to the music. So it's one of those things where, it's a little stimulus package to the hip hop community. For sure.
I just think that I'll say this too, when it comes to, just in general, this is kind of veering off a little bit, but when it comes to this battle, I think this was a lot for Drake too, because the people he didn't battle, like none of them is like Kendrick. Kendrick didn't need to go to the depths of hell to battle Drake. He could have just outbarred Drake in general.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do all this shit that he's doing.
I think potentially he could have, but we don't know.
We'll never know now.
Because half of the disses was about him liking kids, you know? So if you would just listen to it and removed all of that, because that's what Euphoria, I thought Euphoria and Push-Ups was like a 10-10, like I don't know how to explain it, like it was tied at halftime type situation. But after all of that, then all of the pedophilia allegations start coming. So it just kind of like it taints everything. It's almost like Ryan Garcia knocking out Devin Haney, and then we find out that the nigga's on steroids.
Yeah,
afterwards.
that's wild.
Yeah,
and then Ryan was like, I don't even know drugs, man. I don't know drugs like that. Like I like, is this bullshit, man? Like they could have told me before, like we were fighting, and then but they let me fight for some reason. Like everyone's against me, and and then freaking Canelo was like, he should have been quiet.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, he should have been quiet. He should not said anything until they looked deeper into it.
Yeah,
yo, English Canelo he'd be low key unhinged sometimes.
He'd be going crazy.
He's like, oh, he just recently had a clip that was hilarious. Yeah. He told these things, if he were here right in this room, I will fuck him right now.
Yo, pause.
But he meant to say like fuck him up.
Yeah.
Hold on, bro. We gotta hear this. Hold on. This shit was hilarious. And he was pissed. But there's certain rules to English.
You gotta add articles in there.
Hold on, bro.
You won the bet with nobody.
No, no, that's not it. God, where is it at? This shit was so fucking. Hold on, I gotta look this up because I need everybody to laugh with us. Yeah. Hold on. Oh man, I can't find it. But this is him speaking English.
With nobody. Man, get the out of here, man. Please get the out of here, man. It's my night.
You see what Charlo did?
Nuh-uh.
He was talking. He's like, a lot of the people, they came to get the fight, and I'm just really thankful for everybody. And then Charlo was like, hey, man, your English got real good, man.
Yeah,
it's a trip, man.
Shout out to Canelo for actually working on his English.
Do you understand how hard it is to pick up another language?
Yeah,
especially
English.
Yeah, especially because first of all, English is a lot of this shit is a lie. Mm-hmm. All these silent letters and words and shit we be putting together.
Yeah,
like Spanish is not. It's probably easier to get.
Spanish is very transparent.
Yeah, it's very easy to get. It's certain little things like ñes and things like that. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, we be having words that when you spell them out, they don't make sense. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, what's one that doesn't make sense?
In Spanish?
No, in English. It's
like lasagna or sign.
Yes, yeah, like lasagna.
Yeah, anything like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
What did Lil Wayne say?
Even like words like red and read.
Yeah. Yes.
Like past. It's like it can definitely get very confusing for sure.
What did Lil Wayne say?
Real G's moving silence like lasagna.
Yeah,
that was a bar back in the day.
Yeah, that was a bar.
Yeah.
But all the extra shit Lil Wayne used to do was not dope.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I am a Martian.
Yeah. Lil Wayne, man. No, I was gonna say too.
Fireman.
I'm curious to know what this beef would look like if there was no likes, if there was no reposts, if there was no trending topics, if there was no comments. Like what would just the general, if we just had a talk like to human beings, like what would that look like?
Because we know what it looks like because we've had it in the 90s, but the issue is like there are too many opinions that are moving too fast.
Yeah.
There's so many people, and there's such a wide spectrum of people.
Yeah.
But they are all putting their input.
I think, and this is like me just kind of like browsing through the thing while we're on the pod. I'm looking at, so like I was saying, that first trending topic was like So Drake. Like when the Heart Part 6 dropped, So Drake was trending. So now just Drake is trending. And it's like the conversation is kind of shifted a little bit, in terms of that. So yeah, I just think that it's a thing where it's the algorithms, and then it's just like, and I don't know if people are pushing buttons behind the scenes, but a lot of the conversation is controlled by, figureheads. You have like popular people that are like in Kendrick Lamar's corner, and if they have $50,000, $60,000, followers, 100,000 followers, 1 million followers, and they say like, "Dang, Kendrick, that was the firest diss track we ever heard." Like, it just shifts, it just moves the conversation over there. So yeah, but we'll never know what that looks like. But that was just something I was curious to see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I found that clip with Canelo. He's talking about Oscar De La Hoya because him and Oscar got into it. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's see.
Motherfucker. All right. I'm asking for you too, motherfucker.
All right, let's turn our attention back to Canelo and Munguia as we are going to open the
Fucking pussy. Motherfucker.
Yo, this fool is unhinged, bro. But he's when he's talking about Oscar, he said, "What would you do if he was here right now?" "I would fucking fuck him right now." And I was like, "Oh Lord."
Yeah.
I think, to keep it real though, because De La Hoya talked about it. They asked De La Hoya, it's like, "Hey, do you think you in your prime could beat Canelo?" He said, "Absolutely. That'd be easy work." Mm-hmm. And he was like, he was saying all the things that Canelo does wrong and whatnot. He's like, "It'd be really quick. I'll be really done. It'd be over with." And Canelo got a hold of that information. He was fucking pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, man, shout out.
That would have been a good fight.
Oh, I think De La Hoya would have dropped Canelo, man.
Dropped him?
Oh, he would have dropped him.
That nigga Canelo's never touched the canvas. He's not getting dropped by Oscar De La Hoya.
He would have beat him then at least.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. That nigga.
I think it's after Canelo lost to Floyd, he just became very hard to beat.
Yeah,
It was just because he was so young and he didn't have the experience. Mm-hmm. And after that, I've seen some fights where they couldn't even hit Canelo. Mm-hmm. He was just ducking and just moving and moving and moving. I'm like, oh goddamn.
Yeah, there's some fights where he come in really sharp defensively.
Yeah, it's like this motherfucker turned into Floyd low key. I'm like, oh no, he turned into a Mexican Floyd.
Yeah,
He turned into Juan Mayweather. Yeah, man. I just want to. Oh yeah, we got to talk about this. This is also a part of it. Vince Staples.
Yeah, Vince Staples.
Vince Staples, basically, they asked him about the beef, and hold on, let me see if I have the actual link. I should have it right here. No, it's not here. Son of a bitch. Okay.
You talking about on the little stage that he was on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'd asked him about it, and he said, okay, Vince Staples gets asked about Drake and Kendrick beef, gives in-depth answer about the music industry. And this is what he said. Vince Staples said, in quote, "While Taylor Swift is fighting for people to be able to have streaming money, niggas is on the internet arguing with each other about some rap shit." Vince Staples. And he's right. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about it, he also talked about like, they having rap beef and people are making money off it. He said the same companies, they don't want people to have their publishing or nothing. Mm-hmm. But they posted on a humongous billboard. Spotify posted about the rap beef on a humongous billboard. So they got the money to do all the advertising to to promote this rap beef, but not to pay the artist more than pennies on. Was it pennies on the stream?
Yeah.
That's insane. It's not right. Mm-hmm. And there's an artist, man, it's not fair to artists that are newer that want to make some money on their music. Mm-hmm. In addition to people that are, trying to come up. There's a couple artists that I follow recently on Instagram. I want to shout them out. It's an artist named New. It's spelled Knew. He's super dope, man. You should give him a follow. Anybody listening, try to give this guy a follow. He makes really good music. His name is New. Very creative. He basically promotes his. Well, I won't say promote. He markets his music pretty sharply. You see him?
New?
Yeah, New.
Oh no, I'm not
like the word New.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dope, and it's another dude named Cypher. This bald guy. I caught his music probably about a little over a month ago. Dude is super dope. He made a super good project, a really good album.
Yeah.
So I would check him out too. But anyways, it sucks when for one, there's a lot of artists that don't get the streams they deserve. For one,
Yeah.
it's a lot of really good artists that don't get the streams they deserve, and there's a lot of artists that when they do get the streams, they don't get any fucking money.
Yeah.
And you got the two biggest artists beefing when they should be beefing with the fucking streaming platforms.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with Vince Staples, like I was saying earlier, like
He's a forward thinker.
the more mature people, like it's unpopular opinions, that Vince is like a real Crip, like from Long Beach. So like, I don't think he's like, I think maybe a part of him is like entertained by it in a sense, but I think in his mind, like he's really like, I think what he's saying, it's like, how could you say it? Like he knows that people actually care what he have to say. So he's going to use the opportunity to like shed the light on something that's much more important than Drake and Kendrick Lamar going back and forth. So, in the midst of it, like when we actually like, oh, Vince, you're a rapper, you from LA. What do you think about this whole situation? And this nigga talking about streaming numbers and Taylor Swift. It's like, bravo. Like, I don't even know how to like explain it, but I just think that that's so dope to be like, dog, like Spotify got a billboard that said like rap is a sport, but they not even paying paying for billboards, but they not paying the artists. You know what I mean? And he like, Taylor Swift out here is fighting for, she's like, fighting for artists more so than these like, and these rappers is fighting each other while she's fighting for artists in general. So yeah, shout out to Vince Staples. And he just, he just always has these nuanced conversations about music and how it's much deeper than this. Like we're on the surface level just worried about like niggas like, who got better bars, but like the real conversations is how are these artists, not the big artists, obviously they always gonna be good, but how are like the middle class artists gonna like really, feed their families? Or what about the artist that was, like Joe Budden, for example, he don't own his masters to pump it up. It was a big hit back in the day, but he don't own the masters to that. He's going to get them back eventually. But, it's just like it's crazy that there are some artists, and I've met artists, a little older artists, and I'm not going to say no names, but I've met artists from the 90s that got like platinum albums, gold albums, and they living in apartments. It's like, dog, that's crazy. Like I know people with like real hits and they live in like very humble lives, and it's like, dog, these were the biggest artists. We grow up slapping their music, but they can't, they just live in a regular life. So yeah, it's a shout out to Vince, man. I just think he's always like always has a poignant message.
I think that saying the unpopular thing, it tends to age pretty well. And I remember when J. Cole dropped out and we had this conversation, and I was really like, I was sticking to my guns. I was like, I feel like J. Cole was right for what he did. Even like before anybody was standing up on it, and you said like, I respect him, but there's a side of me that likes the competition and wish he would have stayed. Mm-hmm. And then as time progressed, you was kind of like, nah, it's cool. Because sometimes you have to process yourself through things. Mm-hmm. So as we can see, that aged pretty well with J. Cole. Mm-hmm. And I think what Vince Staples saying is going to age really well, because you got two artists that are generating a ton of money for the same corporation that doesn't give a fuck about artists. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna say something right now that's gonna piss off a lot of hip hop fans, because I love hip hop. I grew up on it, but this beef and shit, it needs to die. And I'm gonna tell you why. is antiquated, and we've reached a time where we don't need it. All we need is good music in hip hop. Also, it's the biggest genre in the world, watching two black men go at each other around the country. You are only confirming the biases of how people already feel about us. I do not like it. I think it's a poor representation of black men. And I feel like at the end of the day, to empower somebody and to get money in the pockets of other artists is where the genre needs to go. I don't like this shit no more. Mm-hmm. It ain't no point. And people say, well, it's hip hop. No, hip hop evolves just like everything else.
Yeah.
We don't need to live in the past and be like, since hip hop inception, it's always been a battle between. No, a lot of you niggas just like blood. You just like drama.
Yeah.
Most society just wants drama. They just want something to talk about because we want an escape. And let me be clear. I feel like this has been like a part of this battle was a good escape from our reality. You know, some of the office jobs people work, or, you know, some of the labor jobs that people work. It gave us an escape from our realities of being regular people. We get to have these conversations and all these hypotheticals and all this shit. Mm-hmm. But dog, me personally, I guess I'm boring, but I like peace. Mm-hmm. I like seeing people make money. Mm-hmm. I like seeing people make good music. I like seeing people bring somebody under their wing. I like seeing artists collaborate with each other. I like seeing that, but I don't need to see you like, fuck this nigga because of this. Like, you guys have reached the apex of success. You've reached the absolute apex of success, and you're beefing over what? Don't forget, folks, we're watching two multi-millionaire artists going at each other with visceral reactions and allegations. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that. I don't believe that the beef should die. I think that there's just like, I like the competitive nature. I like watching rap battles. I just think it's like, you know, like what Spotify is saying, like hip hop is a sport. Like they're not the person that should be saying that. I think hip hop is a sport in a way where it's like, not that it needs this, not that it needs Drake and Kendrick to go back and forth. But me as a consumer of like battle rap, and I'm not saying I watch it all the time, I just appreciate it. I think it's really dope. Like when people are like standing in front of each other and they're doing like these freaking monologues for like 10 minutes about like whomever, and then, you know, like the Murder Mooks and all these guys. I think that that's like dope. Like I think it's super creative. Yeah. But I just think that this is just always what it is going to look like when it comes to rap beef, because there's no version of talking about people where it's going to be like peaceful.
Never speak in definite terms, Keith. I will say that it's a chance that this can change. And I feel
that's not, I didn't say that. I said there's no version of beef that's going to be peaceful. Like there's no version of Kendrick Lamar and Drake where it's going to be like, oh, this is just on wax. Like it's always going to get to a level like this. You know,
that's why I said it should stop. Mm-hmm. I think that if you want to compete and you make a dope song, go make a doper song. Mm-hmm. I think that's what hip hop battling was at one time. DJs was doing the battling, like he would scratch doper. Mm-hmm. Then it would go back and forth. But this shit is something else. I feel like the reason why this is dangerous because these niggas is almost 40. If they was in their early 20s, somebody would have got shot. I don't think that people have the ability, because these guys, they're older. They're late 30s, so we really don't got to worry about somebody shooting somebody else. But you see what happened to Tupac and them. They was in their early 20s. The ego can get so out of control that these beefs get out of control. The King Vons and the Pop Smokes are prime examples of that. That is why this shit needs to stop. Mm-hmm. This is a genre that should be safe. We should be safe like country music. We should be safe like all these other genres. We could still be equally as dope without the bullshit. That I really believe that. We have so many artists within the genre that are higher thinkers that create dope ass shit like J. Cole and Kendrick and Big Crit is dope too, and there's so many other dope ass artists. Childish Gambino dope. Mm-hmm. Like Tyler the Creator is super dope and getting even better. Like there's so many great artists that make good music that we don't need to see people butt heads. The butting of heads is just for us. We just love conflict. We are since the earliest of memories, even back to the gladiator days, people would put motherfucking what was the movie that was based off of that? Was it Gladiator? Mm-hmm. With was not what's his name?
Brad Pitt.
Was it Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
What was the other one that had yeah, was Brad Pitt was in Gladiator?
Yeah.
Oh damn, I'm trying to remember. It'll come to me. There was another movie, but anyways, we've had those same people in the audience watching people swing swords.
Russell Crowe is in there.
Russell Crowe. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. From the very, beginning of time, we've had, whether it was David and Goliath and, or, these large coliseums where people swung swords at each other. Mm-hmm. Like we have had an audience watching two people go at each other. This is, we watch boxing and the world watches Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, and we implement that in everything, and we don't have to do that. We're oversaturating these different genres or sports or music because we feel it's necessary when it's not. Mm-hmm. I really don't think it's necessary. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm always going to be on the side of not, I don't know if there's there's just a competitive element to life, I believe. And I think that it spills over into hip hop, maybe in like a toxic way, but that like just everything is numerical, right? Like everything is like, when you look at the Billboard Hot 100, they're charting essentially, like, not saying who's the best, but they're saying like who sold the most singles this week, who sold the most albums this week, they have the hot, R&B, hip hop and R&B charts, and, the people that are charting on there, like SZA's been on there for like 500 weeks or something crazy like that.
Damn.
Good Kid, I'm just exaggerating, but Good Kid, Mad City has been on, I think it's been on the charts since it dropped, so stuff like that. That's like those statistical measures. Like so I think in that there's like a competitive element to it. I like it, but I agree with what you're saying. I think that there's like just a very there's a toxic version of it all, and a lot of it is like it's. I think that people definitely have to stop speaking to this idea that they know what things are going to end up or what they're going to look like. Like we know that J. Cole and Kendrick is not going to spill into the streets and all this other stuff. Like no, but we don't know nothing. You know what I mean? We don't know anything about any situation. This nigga Common was in a rap beef.
Yeah, Common was in a rap beef with Ice Cube.
Talking grizzly, like it's like going crazy on Ice Cube. So nobody knows, these things. I just think that when it comes to words, people's feelings get hurt, people pride get in the way, and he might be a new Ho King with the Blammy.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. The Common Ice Cube one was so like wild because it's like two artists that shouldn't even be beefing at all.
Yeah, it was him, a whole West Side Connection. He was going crazy on him.
What?
He's talking about Mac 10 and I don't know if he said something about Dub C, but definitely Mac 10.
Like, these niggas from the West Coast trying to disrespect me, trying to neglect me, but I ain't never gonna let it go down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm eating bean pies with my guys, riding in the coupe, shooting at these niggas from the West Coast. Ice Cube is a damn fool. He's a jive turkey. You jerk me?
You jerk. Yeah.
Oh man, this because he like a real deep. What do you call it? He's like one of those like Afrocentric rappers. Yeah. I love Common though. Common is dope too. I have a wide range of artists that I love. Mm-hmm. Like I love Kendrick, I love Drake, I love fucking J. Cole and Common and Ice Cube, and it goes on and on. I love 21 Savage. At first, you don't warm up. I even love Lil Yachty. I think Lil Yachty he's came into his own. He's gotten even better. He's been releasing really good music too.
Yeah.
So it's just hip hop is such a vast genre.
Yeah.
Let's
there was a post that I seen. This dude named Kalen Ellis, I believe his name is.
Uh-huh.
He basically said like, it kind of pointed the direction at other artists. He's like, yo, this is for you to show you that you don't have an excuse as an artist not to be putting out music. Like the frequency in which one is like multi-layered. Like one, y'all paying attention to this beef so much that which y'all could be making your own music. And then two, they're showing you in real time. Like these dudes writing songs in a matter of 2-3 days, 24 hours and dropping them. So it's like we as artists have no excuse to not be putting out music. So just music content in general. Like it's podcasters that ain't recorded podcasts in 5 years, but every time
something like this coming, they want to.
Yeah, every time like
how it work.
Yeah. So
this is my hope from this. I will say this. I feel like a guy like Kendrick is the guy that needs to just take a break from music for a while. And I'm not trying to shit on Drake. I'm not trying to shit on Drake, but Drake needs to take a break from music for a while just because like this shit here. I like Kendrick has released a bunch of music in a short span of time. Like this nigga basically has had a whole diss EP against Drake.
Yeah, he got a little EP.
But it took you 5 years to release that last album. So my hope is this. My hope is that Kendrick doesn't do this to his fans again. You, sir, have proven that you can make music. So don't make your fans wait 5 fucking years for you to release an album. And even if you did make them wait, the fans are still making an excuse for you. They'd be like, Kendrick has to really like rechannel his, his brain because he's so deep as a person. He needs time to create. And it's like, you shouldn't be in no beefs, nigga, if you taking this much time off. Drake is a guy that has released music consistently for 15 years. Like him or do not like him, that is what Drake has done. So if Drake took time off, let's say Drake took 3 years where he didn't release nothing, he didn't do no features, Drake needs to pull a Kendrick and then let Kendrick just like get out in front. And you're gonna see how cold shit get.
Yeah. But that's what Drake said. He's like, dog, the only reason y'all got a number one is because you mentioned my name.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting, and Kendrick Lamar is like obviously, one of the biggest hip hop artists, but it's interesting that there's to me, when I look at it from the outside, and J. Cole said this in his song, he's like, I got here off of bars, not no controversy. But it's like Kendrick kind of stirs up these conversations, like with the Control verse and then with the BT cipher and all these things. But it's very rarely off of just like a pure like this amount of attention is very rarely off of a pure just like song that he dropped or something. It's usually off of like, mentioning somebody's name or like a like that or something like that. So like that is a good song, but if he didn't mention like the big three, I don't think that it would have went number one. I think it would have just been a cool song that people was riding around to. So
yeah, I'm looking here.
I seen this poll, which is interesting to see. It has over 100,000 votes on there, and a lot of people had Drake up right now, which is crazy to think that. After all those
Drake is not up, bro.
That's what I'm just telling you what the poll said.
as much as I'm like looking at some of the shit Kendrick doing is foul, I'm a fair person. Like that nigga is not up.
If the Heart Part 6 is true, then he has to be winning. Right?
Oh shit!
If he's saying that I set this up and you made a whole song about a daughter that I don't have, like that's a win. That's a W to me.
Yeah, it is, but ain't nobody gonna own up to it.
The internet said it. It's 133,000 people voted Drake winning the battle.
On what poll? What are you looking at?
It was just on the internet. I'm talking about. It was on Twitter.
You believe in everything on the internet, Keith? Jeez.
I'm just saying people are voting. It ain't got to be. It ain't no facts. It's just people's opinion. It was just a poll that I seen. Yeah, it was on. It's on Double XL magazine.
What?
148,000.
I just
148,000 people. Drake winning 67%.
Oh man, I don't know about that. It's a poll I really don't agree with. I know it sounds like it's ignorant to say that.
It's just a poll, like people just voting. What is there to believe?
Yeah, but it's like like the internet. It's like there's so many versions of this. Like you got the very non-objective Kendrick fans, And then you got Drake casuals. You have people who like Drake, and then you have like a lot of people who love his pop music and shit like that too. So Kendrick actually has more of a core fan base when it comes to making music like this. So I would.
There's nothing to believe. It's just a vote, dog.
Yeah, this is a vote.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking too deeply about this shit.
Yeah, you trying to dissect it like Kendrick Lamar fan.
Basically, what he was saying is like at 6:16 a.m. he woke up at that time because that's where, like, according to the Mayan calendar, like that's where his mind was. And when he was eating breakfast, he had came up with that line. He had mentioned like French toast and bacon. Now I'm not faking. And what he means by that is he's making his daughter and his son breakfast for school.
And real Muslims wouldn't eat pork, and Jewish people also wouldn't eat pork.
Yeah, so it was a double and triple entendre because he was letting y'all know that, like, basically I could have made a left turn here, but I made right.
Yeah.
And like I fixed my life, and because that's why we don't fuck with Drake, because he don't think deep enough. You feel me?
Yeah.
His
and
pen
then
ain't
6 + 6 + 1 is actually 13. And if you understand numerology, you know how important the number 13 is. Because Paul George is from where are you from? Pomona? Paul George is from Pomona.
Palmdale.
He's from Palmdale, and then he played for the LA Clippers, and then Kendrick is from Compton. And Kendrick was actually school used to start at 6:16 a.m. when he was going to elementary school in Compton. So it's deep, dog.
It's deep. And the number 13 signifies so much more because I used to live off 13th Street in LA, and that's where the drive-by happened. And 13 is also the age of Drake's last girlfriend. So when you put those things together,
you gotta chill.
come with that's how Drake's fans be, man. They'll be like, okay, like on swimming pools. Here's the thing, though. Let's just keep it real, because we're not about to play with Kendrick. Kendrick makes deep songs, and if you listen to him, you might even bob your head to it. But it's a deep, like swimming pools.
Yeah,
like we talked about swimming pools. It's about alcoholism.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like a really important song for people to listen to. I would literally recommend people listening to that song in AA meetings.
100%.
I would literally reference people like, hey, you need to listen to Swimming Pools by Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. And they'll be like, why?
People, when I was in college, niggas was playing that while getting drunk.
Yeah. They think it because they're
they drinking freaking.
They because sometimes people decipher lyrics based on how much they comprehend them, right?
Yeah.
So if your comprehension is that you're an alcoholic, you block out all the messages that Kendrick is trying to tell you, and you only pick up, you get a pool full of liquor and they dive in it, pool full of liquor. But he just said, like, I know people living their life in bottles. Like, you are literally confined to this bottle of alcohol because you are an alcoholic.
I would say, I would push back on that. I don't think that they're like ignoring it or whatever, or they can't comprehend it. I just think that that's like the magic of the song, because it doesn't come off as like a preachy song. It's not like, no disrespect to Common, but you know, like a lot of his songs, they come off as like, they're not bops. They're over like soul samples and drum loops and stuff like that. But Swimming Pools it's like a vibe. So you can if you're just listening to it, the vibe doesn't necessarily match the message.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But you even the hook of that song, pull up, drink, headshot, drink, sit down, drink, stand up. See, people just hear that and they're like, oh, that's dope. But like literally there's a drink for every mood. Mm-hmm. Like, you're such an alcoholic, you're coming up with reasons to drink. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's also stating that this is like a cycle for you, you know. And then what's the rest of it? Now, I grew around people. Some people living their life in bottles. Granddaddy had the golden flask, broke stroke every day in Chicago. Some people like to heal way it feels. Some people like to kill their sorrows. Some people want to fit in with the popular. That was my problem.
Yeah.
So he basically saying Granddaddy had the golden flask. He was a drunk. You know, backstroke every day in Chicago. Some people like the way it feels. Means they like how it feels to hide their emotions and be drunk. Mm-hmm. Some people like to kill their sorrows. Some people like to void their emotions, right? Some people want to fit in with the popular. That was my problem, meaning he fell into peer pressure. Now, I'm not over analytical like a Kendrick fan, but I'm just reading it for what it is, right? Somebody is listening to me right now like, nah, nigga, you a Kendrick fan. Yeah. So yeah, that one. And the other one, to me, this one was one that the message is like really beaming. And the other one was how much a dollar costs.
Yeah.
Like when I heard how much a dollar costs, like years ago, I was like you realized, nigga, that was Jesus he was talking to.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But you're right. It is one of those things where like it's because he puts enough thought into it to where it does have like people thinking. And I think you were saying it earlier, like, you know, sometimes you'll be playing a song like years later and you'll be like, dang, I didn't even catch that. Like I remember when I heard him say, he said some new Democrats and Republicans, and I was like, that's the most creative thing I've ever heard. Like, and I didn't hear it at first. It wasn't until I was having a conversation with my friend that I heard it. Like, basically, you know, calling like Republicans Bloods and Democrats Crips. Like, I was like, oh, that's dope. So, you know, so when you sprinkle enough in there, that's what people like start diving into. But I just think that somebody has some wild stuff when it was like, and maybe it's true. If it's true, Kendrick Lamar, he don't speak about his music. He don't talk about his lyrics. He talks like generalities about his ideas. But the verse on Pusha T's the one where he's like, my aunt stole my Nintendo and Sega Genesis and, you know, all this stuff, and then it has all the numbers and the numbers add up to 87. Do you remember that?
Nah.
You know the Pusha T song where they're like the music video is them like walking they're like walking in an alley or something like that.
Oh, I gotta go back and check it out.
Yeah, I forget the name of the song, but yeah, it was a trending thing going around where like somebody was like, Kendrick Lamar is a genius. Every number he says in this song adds up to 87, which is the name of the song or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. I think that the subtle way that he described Jesus as like a homeless man, he just said like, my American tongue was leery, walked out the gas station, a homeless man with a semi-tan complexion asked me for a 10, stressing about dry land, deep water, power blue dress, crack open. So basically they considered Jesus as he said semi-tan complexion. Mm-hmm. And how is he described in the bottle? Like Sandy, was it what did it say he looks like in the Bible? I can't remember.
Oh,
hair of
bronze.
wool and
bronze
skin of bronze.
Mm-hmm.
So he does a good job of like describing the scenario.
Yeah. The song I'm talking about is Nostalgia.
Nostalgia with him and Pusha
T and Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, this is genius. I think that there's certain levels of genius that are just undeniable with Kendrick. It's kind of the genius that you get from like Russell Westbrook. Remember after Nipsey Hussle died and he got 60 points?
Yeah.
That was fucking crazy.
Some of that stuff is dope. Yeah.
It's like, how do you even do this?
Yeah, he said this for Nipsey. That's crazy.
That was fucking crazy when he did that.
That's special.
That's special. Like you can't. It's undeniable. And no diss to Drake, but he can't do this. This is what we're talking about. Drake can't do this. Drake got some good lines and shit, and he's a dope artist. But some of the shit that Drake does, Kendrick does, he just not on that level.
I'm not putting nothing past nobody, but I don't think he does that though.
No, he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I know Cole does though.
Yeah.
Cole done said some shit where I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
I'll be catching it late. Childish Gambino does that shit too.
Yeah.
Like he said some shit like, and I don't want to just harp on it, but Childish Gambino said some shit like, our relationship has become so Sylvester Stallone, right? And I knew what it meant for some reason. Like it meant like I don't understand you. Like cause Sylvester Stallone is like, but the genius in some of these artists, they could like literally paint, like they could literally paint a canvas with words. It is so fucking dope.
I think that what was I gonna say? Yeah, as far as like the Drake, this is what I was gonna say. J. Cole, you know, shortly before the off season, like going on the whole free feature run, he just was like intrinsically motivated. He's like, I haven't wrote my best verse yet. I want to like sharpen my skills and get back to like writing really, really good raps. And I felt like Kendrick and Drake were not like inspired in a way to like write the best verse. I think that they were like, I think Kendrick was like, you know, on this self-discovery journey, and that was great for him. And then I think Drake was still like, you know, that nigga Drake is Drake, so he gonna rap about women and all kind of other stuff. But I think that this might be a thing where it just inspires both of them to rap again, which is like, I think that's good for for hip hop.
The best thing that J. Cole could do within like the next 2 months, 3 months is just, he dropped that album already.
Might delete later.
Yeah, he might need to delete that and just come out with something else.
J. Cole?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. He said he might delete it later, right?
Oh, I mean,
stand on your business, nigga. You said you're gonna delete it later.
He deleted the song, the diss song.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So he stuck to his words.
Yeah, that's dope.
But yeah, I think I'm curious to see what all.
This is the perfect time for another artist. I think it would be dope to see some new music from Tyler the Creator.
They're sucking the air out of the room. Everybody got to chill until.
Really?
Yeah, Four Bats. That guy. Four Bats. Yeah, he just dropped like a little EP or something like that.
People kept saying it was trash.
They said it was trash.
People kept saying it was.
I don't believe that.
I don't listen to people. I gotta listen for myself.
Yeah. I mean, because the songs that he put out are like, I've only heard like 2 or 3 songs and they all sounded dope. So I just don't imagine that he put out a trash EP, especially if the hit song is already on there. That doesn't really. But yeah, that's also algorithms. You got to be careful about, you know, what people are saying. But yeah, I was just saying, like, he dropped the album. You know, he's an up and coming artist who makes good music, and you know, he even had tweeted like, yo, like in the midst of all this, like, you know, check my album out, kind of thing. So everybody just got to wait until probably like July. I would say July. Anybody should start rolling out new music. But I will say, in the midst of all this, Childish Gambino, I'm a huge Childish Gambino fan. He's coming out with some new music. I think he's supposed to be re-releasing his last album, which was like 3/15/20 or something like 3/15/19 or whatever. So that one is he's gonna basically he added new songs and changed up the sequence and stuff like that for that. So that's something to look forward to outside of this beef. So, yep. But yeah. But enough of this rap.
Yeah, enough of this rap, man. Let's knock out one of these topics and close it.
Get out of here. It's about to be 2 hours in.
Getting a little late, man. Sorry if you oversaturated the listeners with the rap beef, man. But we're sorry. We had to give you the rap beef. Mm-hmm. This is the rap beef. Welcome to a rap beef podcast. My name is Eddie McGee.
It's a hip hop podcast.
All right. Switching gears. No clothes, no problem. Nude cruise to set sail from Florida next year. So it's going to be dicks out. All right. Tampa, Florida. Cruise ship passengers can bear it all. It's called the Big Nude Boat, which will be set sail from Florida on a 10-day voyage to the Caribbean in 2025. Bare Necessities Tour and Travel is taking over Norwegian Pearl from February 3rd to February 14th. New passengers will visit the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, and Saint Martin, Dominica. While there will be clothes-free experiences throughout the trip, proper nudist etiquette and other rules passengers must be followed. So you gotta have your dick out. Such as wearing clothes inside dining rooms. Oh, so you gotta wear clothes. You can't have your balls.
In a dining room, yeah. No clothes, no service.
Yeah. Must have WAP out. In dining rooms. When the ship is at sea or anchored in a port, passengers can be nude unless announcements have been made to the contrary. When the ship is docked alongside in port, all passengers must be dressed throughout the entire vessel, including balconies, until the ship leaves port, and an announcement is made that nudity is again permissible. A message to the Bare Necessities Tour. Oh, wow.
I would say that doesn't actually sound that appealing.
Nah, it's just too much.
Yeah. First of all, you're going to be walking around with other men. And then secondly, like, I just imagine the caliber of people. If you are looking for just like attractive women,
it's not going to be
there.
I
just don't think the caliber of women is going to be that crazy.
It's going to be some wrinkled pussy in there.
Yeah, that's what I
like, oh, I think, and then it's bad too. Like, imagine when you go out on a ship or you go somewhere, you're going to like, meet people and say hi and whatnot. And the weird thing about it is you walk up, hey, my name is Eddie, and your dick's out. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a lot.
That's crazy. To be talking to another man while you got your dick out is crazy.
I'm talking about a woman. Like,
no,
just in general.
I'm
though.
just saying, like, to be on a boat and you just like, it was like, what's going on?
You see that Laker game, man?
Yeah, like you can't have a normal conversation.
It's
that.
like, man, you telling me about LeBron while you bricked up, nigga? I am out of here.
Yeah, it'll start to feel like a freaking Planet Fitness in here.
Yeah, that's too much, man.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, over at 6, man, just go over to the recreation, the rec room, man. They're out there, they're playing hand tennis or whatever, man. Stop by. And this is like, man, y'all
balls
naked.
everywhere. Yeah. I think if I was younger, that might be like something that not even like a vibe, but just something I would do to say I did it. But
the only way I would go on a naked, I don't even know if there's any condition. But if there was, I would need to know who's on the ship.
You need like little profile pictures first or something?
I need to know who's on the ship.
Yeah.
Because and then one, it's got to be a boat. And I just don't want to have other men around naked, man.
Yeah.
That just ain't cool.
Yeah.
It's like me and like 4 other chicks. This will be naked.
That's a better vibe.
Yeah, it's a better vibe. Because they only got one choice, too.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have your turn. Me and Maria are hanging out tonight.
And then also what happens if like a actual porn star like pop on the boat?
That'll be wild.
And I'm sitting here looking like above average with that nigga looking like a tripod. I'm just like
this dude can put a black magic camera on it. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's wild, man. I don't know about the naked cruise, man. Mm-hmm. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they have like the beaches and stuff like that, that people be going to. But what I've seen from like just from like the internet and stuff, it looks like a lot of older people that just kind of like, they probably get to their 40s and they like, man, I don't care no more. Like, I'm just
40s is still too young. You're gonna see people there in like late 50s, 60s,
50s, 60s.
You seeing the oldest balls and the oldest booty and breast. Mm-hmm. That ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a whole lot extra to really speak about here. I mean, we're just giving you the news. If you guys want to go out there, you want to get naked on the boat, go ahead and do it.
More power to you.
More power to you, man. Mm-hmm. All right, show your ass. All right. We go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the rest of this, Keith?
Nah, I'm trying to go home.
All right. Well, Keith obviously wants to go home.
Yeah.
All right. And we think Kendrick Lamar and Drake should do the same. Okay? You guys need to go home.
Yeah.
There is no more use to these rap beefs, okay?
Yeah.
You guys be safe. If you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to A Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're out of here.
Peace.